on your orange paper. All right. So density equals mass over volume. And you guys said we were looking for mass. So that means we need D and V out of the question, right? So what's our density in the question up there? All right. Now, how did William know that that was density? Because it never says anywhere in that problem that that's the density. So how do we know that? All right. This right here is the density unit. That is the density unit that y'all should have written all over that lab paper that I haven't graded yet. I tried to work on them in the car this weekend, and it's a little hard with one hand. Paper slid one way, and I tried to hang on to it with one hand and tried to write with one hand. It's not a good plan. Okay? I'm used to having two hands when I try that. So, that's a density unit. That's what tells you that. Grams over milliliters is your density unit. So 14.3 has to go there. That means that 28.9 ml is a what? That's the volume. So 28.9 has to go there. Now, how are you going to solve for mass if that's what you're solving for? You're going to cross multiply. Remember, I told you to put a 1 here if it made you happy. Do you have to put a 1 there? No. So you choose. If you don't want the 1 there, don't put it there. Cross multiply. What's 1 times m? M. Or 1m if it makes you happy, but m. And then you multiply those two numbers together. So 14.3 times 28.9 is 413.27 grams. Now, if you were not sure how we got grams, look back at your units. ml, grams over ml. What's going to happen to the mLs? They cancel out, and we're left with grams. Does that make sense? Because we're going to practice this in a couple minutes. For those of you who forgot. Okay? Number 2. What is the volume of a rock with a density of 5.34 and a mass of 15.2? So, what are we solving for here? All right? Out of D, M, and V, what are we solving for? If I go back, what does it say to find? What is the volume? So we're solving for which letter? The V, okay? So I'm going to put my equals and my V there. So we're solving for which letter? V, right? So D and M have to be given in the question. So if I go back, what number is my density? All right, so I'm going to put 5.34 here. That means my mass has to be given. So, whoops, wrong direction, Dingy. So what number is my mass? 15.2. So I'm going to put 15.2 right here. Now, when I grade your test tomorrow, we're going to use zip grade for multiple choice. But when I'm grading the free response, because yes, they're free response that come from the lab questions. When I'm grading the free response, when I'm flipping to those, and your multiple choice, what should I see on your paper? Should I just see people punching on the calculator tomorrow? No, because this is how I get the multiple choice answers. I multiply the two numbers, and I divide the two numbers. 15.34 divided by this, and 15.2 divided by that. So if all you do is pick up the calculator, are you going to find an answer? Because I multiplied them and I divided them both ways. So if all you do is divide and multiply, you're going to find the answer. Is it necessarily the right answer? No. Okay? So do your math. Write it down and solve so you get the right answer on the test. Because if you do this, odds are good you're going to solve it and solve it right. So what do? Because y'all are telling me how to do it right. Cross multiply. Okay? Cross multiply. So, what's 5.34 times V? Okay. And 1 times 15.2 is what? Now, once you get here, what do we do to get V by itself? See how that volume of people just got louder? And everybody told me what to do? Everybody knows what to do when you write it down. But if all y'all do is pick up the calculator, some of y'all get it backwards. Y'all will find the right answer, and half of y'all will find the wrong answer. write it down so you get the right answer on the test. Because what happens when it comes to test corrections? Do you think a whole bunch of people show up to do test corrections? Nope. Exactly, because people just don't come. I mean, I'm here. Nobody comes to visit me. I don't know why. Must be my personality. People just don't like me. So, what happens to my units here? What happens to my units here?
Grams and grams don't cancel out.
Exactly. Grams and grams cancel out, and I'm left with milliliters. I think I copied that down right. Yeah, I did. All right, so the next question. What happens to the density of a block of wood if it's cut in half? Stays the same. Remember, we looked at that with everybody's density with water. Y'all did really well with water. Y'all did really well with the zinc. It was that block of wood that we ran off the rails. And we did this in fourth period. The water was a disaster. They did great with the zinc and the block of wood, believe it or not. All right, how do we find area? Okay, I reviewed that because a lot of times when I give the test on this, what do you think people do to find area on the test? They do. They do length times width times height. So I just wanted to make sure we knew that before we took the test tomorrow. Like, which one has height in it? Volume. Okay? So we're going to do two things. The first one is a worksheet to practice with density. And the second one, we're going to do plickers. How many of y'all done plickers in other classes, the little cards you hold up? Y'all done that before in other places?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. We handed it up. I tried it in first period when I handed out homework. And we were late leaving to go to grab and go because it took me forever to hand out plickers. Now, I'm not going to give you very long to do this. Okay, we're going to take at most 15 minutes. There's only 8 questions. Some of you will finish the 8 in 5 or 6 minutes. Some of you in 15 minutes may not finish all 8 questions. Okay, now roam around and help those of you who are willing to ask me a question. Okay, the idea is for those of you who don't know how to do it, get to the last minute help before we have the test tomorrow. Okay, I promise I don't bite. If you have a question and don't know how to do it, now is the time to ask. All right, we've done 5 openings. We'll do 5 more, and then I'll take them up and I'll give you a grade for them. Everybody should get 100 on openings. After we do them, what do? I go over them, right? Nobody should miss an opening. Now, if you were absent, like Caleb was absent, they're over here beside Logan, there's a notebook that says openings. So you need to make sure you catch up on that. Oh, it's coming back. What are you doing? Make sure you're done talking. Not reloading. I appreciate it. Now, when you get to number 8, the graph is on the back. When you get to number 8, the graph is on the back. Let me put in these last couple of frames, and then I'm going to get up and come help you. Question? Okay. I think that's. Question? Uh-huh. Okay. Okay. All right, that's good. I have your salt. We don't have to cross the spot, yes. Because it is by itself. You just have to set it up here. Yes. Yes, you set up here. Yes. That's correct. You set up. Yes. Change it. Okay. If you're looking for D, you don't want a number for the D. Does that make sense? So that short for 3, you have to be M and D. Is that M or D? There's that right. So, we'll put it on top. That means that 4.6 is stop. So we're going to do what we numbers. Yes. All right, who else has a question? Yeah. All right, on this one, we have them backwards. There you go. And this one, how do you divide that? That's too small. No, it's not. I guess it's, maybe because I'm just looking at it as a 2.3. Is that a 1? 12.3? Oh, it's just erasures on it. That's why. Well, what does that say? Okay. Yeah, so that should be good because that's a really tiny number. All right. The only thing that I would fix on that one is because this is a gram and that's a milliliter, is it should be grams over milliliters. Okay. Otherwise, that one's good. 3 should be good. As your looks like, how did you try to say your correct multiply there? Yeah. All right, so how would you solve there? What do you think you would do? Yes, that's what you would do there. All right, why would we jump over 2? You're solving for what if you've got this, no that? Yeah, so solve for density. And then you can figure out which one of those it is. All right, who else has a question? Question? It's okay to ask. What are you solving for number 2? If you've got that and that. What'd she say? Yes, that's it. All right. Yes, and then which one of those would be? Yes, correct. All right. So if you have this and that, what are you going to solve for? Yes, and then you can figure out which one of those it is after you figure out that first. Uh-huh. So you can figure out the density, and then you can figure out which one of those it is. Alexis, you got a question? Yeah, it's going to be a big number because they're big on the Yeah. All right. You are not going to use this to solve. If I gave you this and I gave you this, what are you going to find in those two numbers? Yes, and then you can figure out which one is in.
Okay.
Okay, because it'll match one of those. All right, how about someone that fits in the room towards the back? You have a question back here? Yeah. This is upside down because you wrote your phone around. Wrong, it's M over V. So flip it. And I suspect this will be backward. Nope, you wrote that one right. You have to ask over volume, except that you put the volume on top. So put the volume down here where the V is. Yeah. You just flipped it. Yeah. Yes, you're solving. So once you know that, based on this number, is it greater or less than? Right, so if it's greater than 1, it's going to 4. Question around? Sure? Sure? Okay. Try to go back to you. Question on anything? Right. You're okay on that. It's just big because your personal line numbers are large. I want to be like since you're how long running. Okay. Okay. Yeah, just. Yeah, that was right. Yeah. You can unit on it. So grams over ml. But the answer is right. You can round off. I mean, you can get rid of all those numbers and just see like 0.34. You don't have to write down anything like that. I would round those off on the decimal too. I won't write all those numbers down. Question? David, question on anything? Yeah. Yeah. Let me get the keys because I think it's locked and somebody went to the bathroom. Okay, so what is this? So is it a mass volume of this? Okay, and what is this? Okay, we got a mass and volume of 0.5. So you're going to find the density, when you have the density, you're going to have the density. So what do you do now to find the density? You do what? So you divide. Okay. So which one will we do? Yep. Okay, start, whatever. There you go. All right, who else has a question? Sure. Okay. All right, what are we going to do next? Yeah, yep.
See your color coming back.
Yeah. It look normal again. If I can just get the swelling and the function back. So you'll see this. Let's get something on it. All we got to put this better than what's fine. Think you can make it through class now? Think you can make it through class now? That's good. My old lab, better than you do. That's sort of scary. You're what? Full bridge. Okay. Yep. That's all.
Okay.
Yes, sir. All right, that's correct. You guys don't know where the first row. It's volume in the second row. You can't roll it over the first row. You got so what? Yes. And then, oh, yes, ma'am. Yeah, because you don't have to go full stop. Because both numbers are on the same side.
Okay, then you can give us a page.
You just stop. Yes. Go. You just stop. You ain't got time for you to stop, pause, and think.
That's right.
Yep. All right. Stop that. Get rid of that. What number's on the top of the divide? Put that in first, and then divide what's on the bottom. It's always top divided by the bottom. Yes, sir. All right, so now you look at here, and then what matches that number. There's something about the star or whatever. All right, so what do you get? All right, so the rest of the question is asking you, if the density of water is 1, will the sample flow or sink? All right, well, that's the density you got. Water is 1. Is this bigger or smaller? It's bigger. So if that's bigger, is it going to sink to the bottom, or is it going to float on the top? Water is more. It's going to sink. It's heavier. It's more dense. All right, who else has a question for me? What's wrong with me? Which one's the lowest density? So, based on the numbers you have, it would be 4, 3, 1, 2. What do you have, Wayne?
2,
All right, you're going bottom to the top. So what do you have at the top?
4,
What do you have next?
3,
And then,
1.
and then, you got certain numbers. We're just reading down, he's reading up. Yeah. Looks right. This one, you have, all right, finish the question you're on, okay? Because we're gonna stop and go over where you're at. So finish. My calculators are old, try to be kind to them. I've had some of these since around 98. Trying to be very kind to my calculators. I haven't got new ones because I haven't lost mine. Finish the question you're on. Who's got a question? Yeah. So what now? So tomorrow on the test for increasing density, the way this is going to work. Go on board. Is you'll have a graduated cylinder. And I want you to put them in order. So whichever one's the lowest in terms of which object do you have this the lowest out of your 1, 2, 3, 4. I'll have you put it at the top and then the highest at the bottom. So in your objects, which one has the lowest? Object 4, so you'd want to put like 4 at the top, and then who has the next lowest? And then the next. And then who has the highest? So it would look like this tomorrow on the test, because I'll have them in a graduated cylinder so you can put them in order based on density that way. You're welcome. All right. So everybody's had a chance to finish the one they were on. All right. If you didn't finish, it's okay. We're going to look at the answers to what you have. All right. So question 1 should have an answer of 0.34. Now, like I was telling Chase, I'm not going to give you every number on the calculator tomorrow on the test, okay? I'm going to round off to 2 or 3 decimal places max, usually 2. 0.34 grams over milliliters. Number 2, you should get an answer of around 2.7 grams per milliliter. So which answer would be the right answer if it's 2.7? Aluminum. Number 3, a lot of you ask me this because it's a big number. Remember, I make up these numbers, so if I make them up, their odds are good they're going to be large or small numbers, and I don't pay any attention to that. So don't assume it's wrong because it's a big number. So number 3 is 1,652 grams. I didn't even write down the decimal point, so I don't know. That's what? That's fine. I just dropped them. Number 4, you find the density and you get 6.48 grams per milliliters. Now, if you get 6.48 and the water has a density of 1, if water's a density of 1 and you drop that 6.48 density in it, is it going to sink or is it going to float on the top? It's going to sink all the way to the bottom. What's the reason it's going to sink if I ask that question on the test? It's more dense. All right, number 5. The mass is 112 grams. I didn't write the decimals, so I don't know what they are. Okay. Number 6. The volume should be somewhere around 0.305 milliliters. Number 7, I wrote on the board. Number 8, using the graph on the back, number 8A is 6 milliliters, B, 7 grams, and C, 1 gram per milliliter. Questions about anything on the review sheet with density? No? All right, then let's review some of our unit kind of things. And we're going to do that with plickers, all right? But in order to do that, I need to pull up the plickers on the board so that you can find out your card numbers. Now, the plicker cards I have purchased, and it would be nice if you could be nice to my cards and not brutalize them and throw them around like Frisbees when you bring them back. Because these are laminated cards, but the lamination is not going to hold up forever if we brutalize them. And your plicker card numbers will not change over time. So if you remember them next time, then you can just get up to get your card, but most of you probably won't remember your plicker card. And we're going to do about, I think, 8 questions. 2 of them are going to review frame of reference. Of course, I got to type it right. All right. All right, so that's not what I want. Okay, I think everybody's name's up there. I think I've got it big enough that everybody can see it. So, like Nathaniel is card 1, Sacramento's card 2, Virginia's card 3, so forth and so on. So, find your card number and grab your card. 18. I put little tags on them so it's easier to see the card numbers.
Calm down.
You got 2 cards. Damn, bro.
That's mine. They didn't know what was going on.
I don't even see my name. Oh,
Are you not up there?
Oh, okay. Because I'm on the phone. Like, I was gonna say, you got this
I
one.
tried hard. Did I not get you, Lucia? Raul's got a misspelling. All right.
He didn't know what
All
happened.
right, let's edit Raul here so he's not misspelled. Well, let me fix it. Save. All right. You're 6. John Hernandez is 6. Do you not have a 6 up here? Who took card 6? Jacob is 9. All right, Anna, I forgot. That one's on me. But I can see John's.
I was looking at it.
All right, we're getting rid of him at the moment. All right, Anna, tell me how to spell it. A-N-A-L-U-C-I-A. All right, last name. That's just it. That's into, there's no anything after it. U-U-A. U-U-A. Come stop. Look, I got one hand. Help me out here. Now, look now. You got to spell that stuff right. Capitalize that C. I'll go back and fix that C and make it capitalized. My OCD will go crazy. All right, now save. All right. Now you're number 20. All right. Everybody got a card now? It's right there on the notebook. And I guess I'll add the other fella if he joins us. All right. Now, if you will, those of you who've played this before know how it works. Those of you who have not, on the card, this is a version of, remember the old blue lights that used to sit on the smart boards that had the clickers that had A, B, C, D on them?
Yes.
Okay, this is the downgraded version that doesn't require those really expensive clickers that cost $1,000 to buy a collection set of clickers and require batteries that constantly require change batteries. It also upgrades. Did any of y'all ever play in elementary school, probably 4 corners, where you had signs of A, B, C, D, and you had to pick an answer, go to a 4 corner, and y'all figured it out really fast, follow the smart kid to the right answer? Okay. On here, there are letters A, B, C, and D. Notice they're really tiny. That's so if you decide the answer is A, you choose A. You can't see where anybody else's A is, so you can't cheat off of them, number 1. Now, I don't use this ever for a grade. This is called formative assessment. This is so I can assess where you are, so I can adjust what I need to do, A, for class, if we're doing it before a test. This is for you to assess today what you need to do before tomorrow's test, okay? We're testing tomorrow regardless. But if you bombed the worksheet or you weren't quite steady. What do you need to do tonight? Study. As we go through this today, and you're like, dang, I can get that math unit right this fall. Dang, I got the equipment wrong too. What are you gonna do tonight? Study. Now you nailed the worksheet today? You nailed these questions we're doing today? It's probably safe to say you don't need to do what? You probably don't need to study tonight. You've got it, okay? Formative assessment works both ways. I assess you and go, okay, I need to adjust what we're doing tomorrow. They ain't got it. Or you need to assess yourself today. Dang, I ain't got it for the test. I lost some stuff over that 3-day weekend. All right? So this is for y'all. So we've got A, B, C, D. We're going to do, I think, 7, 8 questions. So if you think the answer is A has to be up for you to register answer A. If you think the answer is D, you find D, and D is up. I can do it with my phone or iPad. I can use my iPad because it's bigger and I'm blind. Okay? So you just rotate the card. Now, I will usually give you a little bit of time for you to give an answer. That way you're not holding the card in the air forever, particularly if it's a math problem when we do those units. Now, you cannot have, see how my finger is here on top of the black? It will not scan, okay? Your fingers have to be off the black. It has to be facing me. If it's like this, you'll see me turn the iPad because I'm trying to line it up, okay? Now, like William's holding it, it's going to scan because his finger is not on the black, okay? If it's curved the way Damien is doing it like this, it's going to struggle because it's not flat, okay? It has to be flat, and you can't have your finger in it. Everybody clear on those rules? All right. No, I don't got that at the moment. All clickers, where are they at? Haven't done it since last year. Forgot where the app is. All right, third period. All right. Now, I don't want anybody else to be able to see what people marked and got right or wrong. So hide the panel, full screen. Well, that's great. I don't want everybody else to be able to see your answers.
They show you.
Yeah, well, it'll show who got it right and who got it wrong. All right, so which one of those is a unit for mass? Choose your answer, and then put your card up, because this should be a pretty easy one. Hopefully I won't drop my iPad. This is the first time I've tried to do it with one hand. I can use my other hand for its balance. And it scans pretty quickly as long as your card is facing me. All right, so we got 19 right and 1 wrong. Mass is a gram. Okay? All right. All right. Which of the following would be used to measure length? All right, again, 19 right, 1 wrong. We got one thing up there that'll measure length, and that is a meter stick. I will tell you all that. I'm never going to tell you who got it right and who got it wrong. All right? All right, what does DM stand for? You see that on the test tomorrow. What does DM stand for?
Don't be looking at people with my anxiety, please. I don't care. Like what in something?
We got bunches of wrong answers this time. Oh, I missed. All right. So we got 9 right and 11 wrong. All right. The only answer y'all didn't pick was C. It's the only answer we didn't pick. All right. D stands for what? Deci. Okay, so deca is what symbol? DA. And I even had people pick gram. What do we have to have for gram? G. So the correct answer is which one? It is D, decimeter. Okay? So let me get you with that tomorrow. All right? Which of the following is a volume unit? Send somebody on phone work. Oh no, I got everybody now. All right, 19-1 again. A volume unit is a which one? A liter. All right. We did that one. All right. All right, that one didn't change. There it goes.
Okay.
It should be markedly better after that last question. Your thumb or fingers are on what? There you go. All right, I got 17 rights this time and 3 wrongs. All right, DA is what? Deca, and L is what? Liter. All right. All right, last one before we do 2 on frame of reference. All right. What instrument would be used to measure the volume of water tomorrow? That is our last test review question. All right, we got 15 right and 5 wrong. All right, everybody picked. See who got it right, and then the other 3 answers got picked also. A triple beam balance is used to find what? Mass. Can we use a beaker to find anything?
No.
No, beakers don't find anything. Test tubes. Have we talked about a test tube?
No.
Do not pick an answer we've not talked about. I promise you, it's not the answer on the test, okay? I don't throw in weird things just to throw you off. Have you ever picked an answer on the test because you thought it sounded smart and sounded right?
Yes.
Yes. Don't do that, okay? That's stupid. All right, the last 2 questions I have for us are review for a frame of reference. Now, before I even ask, there are questions up here. Tell me what a frame of reference is. Is what? Has to be a stationary object. What's stationary mean? Not moving. All right. That's all we're going to say about it. Let's see what you remember.
It really is.
Maybe I should have been more specific in one if it's confusing you. Okay.
Mhm.
All right. So we got 10 rights and 10 wrongs. All right. What do you think the answer is?
Hey.
I was thinking, hey, but the thing, I would see.
The answer is C. It's the airport. All right. The clouds move, yes.
Right.
The sky. If it's a cloudless day and I put blinders on you like on a horse where you can only see straight ahead and I point you and you're looking this way and all you can see is the sky and I point you this way and all you can see is the sky. Have you any idea which way you're looking?
No.
You've got no idea. The sky is blue. You cannot orient yourself based on the vastness of the sky. It's sort of like being dropped in the middle of the ocean, okay, on boats. You look any way 360 degrees, all you see is what? Water. You have, exactly. And then you can tell whether you're east or west and where it is positioned above you. But then you've got to know something about the sun to know that. But otherwise, you have no idea where you are in terms of a frame of reference. And you can tell that you're moving based on where the sun is in the sky, but that's it. The sun could be a frame of reference, but can the sky itself be the frame of reference? No. Okay, the sky is never going to be the frame of reference, which is why I picked that. Okay, I'm hoping fourth period will remember that because we argued about it forever during fourth period on Friday. All right, last question. This should be an easier one. Something about the way your hold there goes. I don't know what you did when you moved your fingers there, but it worked. All right, so we got 17-3. All right, 17 have the right answer and 3 people don't. The 2 answers that were picked were B and C. All right, so which one is right, B or C?
B.
Why is B the right answer?
Because it can't move.
It can't move. The stop sign is stationary. The person who's walking is doing what?
Moving.
They're moving. They can't be the frame of reference if they're moving, okay? So the stationary object is the stop sign, is the frame of reference. Questions about a frame of reference? All right, if you will, put your Plicker cards back on my desk. All right, if you did not know any of that information or we're struggling, that you need to do a little work between now and tomorrow. Frame of reference is not on the test.
What did you just say, Logan?
Right.
What
What'd you say?
That's what I thought.
Oh, yeah.
Because I don't know.
Swallow, smack it.
No, smack him, please.
You mean organize these?
If you want to put them in numerical order, that'd be great.
Okay.
Well,
What?
I'll help you with it.
I'll see you at lunch, Logan.
Let's see you with, let's see you right here with the bell rings.
I ain't gonna do that to Miss Wall. She already broke something. I don't want to break something else trying to break us up. Where's the one? I can't remember. There's 2.
Just let us fight it out. We'll break it up by ourselves.
Let's not. All right, find your notes. You might want a calculator today if you don't have one. Because we're going to talk distance versus displacement. We've already taken the notes. We're largely going to work on examples and some practice. Okay, so we don't have to take any notes today. We did the notes on Friday. All right. So on Friday, we talked about distance and displacement, right? We said, first of all, the distance was everything. Okay, that's the part you got to keep in mind in the examples. Everything. Displacement is the difference between start and stop. Okay? So, what does the word difference imply based on our based on our conversation from Friday? I said, what does the word difference mean from our conversation from Friday? Subtract, okay? You know the word difference means subtract from math class. So it still means subtract in science class. So sometimes displacement means we have to subtract some numbers. But when we talk about distance, and I say everything, what does that mean we're going to need to do? Add, okay? So generally speaking, when we talk about distance, we're going to need to add, okay? Those are the things we're going to need to keep in mind. Now, which one of these two things is going to be the bigger number? Which one? Distance, okay? So distance will be bigger, and displacement will usually be smaller. Now, there are lots of different types of examples that we can do with distance and displacement, okay? So the one that we talked about on Friday, I typically use the one where I come to school and go home. Did I do that one?
Yes.
Okay. So the one that we talked about on Friday was I live in Tyro. I drive 11 miles here, and I drive 11 miles home. So if I drive 11 miles here and 11 miles home, what is my distance? Well, what do I have to do with the 11 miles here and the 11 miles home? I have to add them together, so I drive how many miles to and from work? 22 miles. But my displacement is what? 0, because I start in Tyro and I stop in Tyro. So my displacement for the day is what? 0. All right? Now, let's say, I'm going to use this example. Let's say that you have a 2-parent home, but they're not married anymore. They were never married, doesn't matter which. But you start at mom's house, and you go to dad's house for the evening, okay? Will your displacement be 0?
No.
No, because you're not returning to the same place, okay? That would be an example of where displacement is not 0, because you're not starting and you're not stopping in the same place. Does that make sense? Okay? So let's say you live over here behind Hayes Jewelers, and you start there for the day, and you come here. You travel, let's say, we're just going to make this up because it's not that far. But let's say you travel a mile, okay? And then to go home to Dad's house, he lives out towards the country club over there towards Zaxby's, that direction, okay? You go from here way out there. Okay? You have to travel all the way out that direction. Now, our displacement is clearly not going to be 0. Does that make sense? All right. Now, let's say, as an example, that we walk 5 blocks north, and then 3 blocks west. What is distance and displacement? Okay? Now, we're going to walk 5 blocks north, 3 blocks west, and we want to know distance and displacement. Distance is always easy for people because all we ever have to do is what? add. It's nice and simple. Okay? And I'll give those people who are writing a chance to write it down. And then we'll talk displacement. All right, those of you who are writing caught up. All right, so if we want to find our distance, distance is what? Distance is 5 blocks plus what? Plus 3 blocks. So I get what? 8 blocks. Okay? So if I walk 5 blocks, and then I walked 3 blocks, I walked how far? I walked 8 blocks. Now, displacement, I used a word for this on Friday. I told you it's like a shortcut. So, a lot of times to teach this, I draw pictures. So, if I walk 5 blocks north, oops, I need to go west. I don't have enough space to go west. Okay. 5 blocks north. And then I go 3 blocks west. Okay. Now, some of us are on the lazy side. Known to be that way myself on occasion. I might look at that and say, dang, I want to walk all those blocks. Is there a shortcut? We can cut through some parking lots behind some buildings. And we could just say from here, whoops, that line is not very straight. Let me see if I can make that a little better. Here, I might be able to cut off some of them blocks, right? Y'all ever done that?
Yes.
I certainly have, particularly when I was your age.
It's just faster.
Exactly. All right, shortcut. I've certainly done it. For example, I had to go to Jacket Academy today to see somebody. I was supposed to go all the way to the office. Followed out with my handy-dandy little orange tag, speak to Miss Beverly, go down to the main hall, out by the gym, through the parking lot. Some days, I don't feel like doing all that, so I do what? I go out the side door. Down across the grass in the back parking lot. I could probably cut off 5 minutes alone, just cutting out all of those steps. So I understand shortcuts. So, how am I going to get the answer though? Really? All right, I want y'all to take math class for just a minute. Okay, you're sitting in math class, not in science class. Anything about that look familiar to y'all? A what? It's a right triangle. Okay? So if that's a right triangle in math class, any kind of math, something or another, ring a bell for y'all if that's a right triangle?
90 degrees.
90 degrees. So any kind of math formula concept that you learned, ring a bell. They'd be so disappointed.
Really?
Nothing pops in your head that you might have learned in Math 1. Y'all probably used it since Math 1.
Yes.
Starts with a P.
If you remember to say it, I mean.
Yes, the Pythagorean theorem. Y'all remember some A squared plus B squared equals C squared? Remember that? Okay? This being like A squared, this being your B squared, this being your C squared. Remember that? So we're just going to plug into the formula and find the shortcut. The shortcut's being the C squared. So, and it does not matter which one you make which. You could just easily flip the A and the B. So, the 3 blocks is A and squared. Plus the 5 blocks get squared equals C squared. Now, again, if you can't square the numbers, have no fear. There's no shame in using a what? Exactly. Now, if you remember, great, do it yourself. 9 plus 25 equals C squared. Now, I don't worry about making things turn out to be perfect squares, so use the calculator. 25 plus 9. Geez, I got a 34. This wall's trying to make things difficult. I don't have a perfect square. Again, not a big deal. We're not trying to figure out what the square root of that is and trying to say what number times what number, trying to simplify in square roots. No. What do we do with that C squared so that it's just a C? You remember last week when I said what's the opposite of add? What's the opposite of divide? What's the opposite of squared? Square root. So we're going to take the square root of this C squared, and we wind up with C. So I'm going to take the square root of 34. We're not going to get some kind of square root answer. We're getting a decimal. Do y'all know where the square root is on the calculator?
Hit second, then hit.
Exactly. So second is squared. So yellow key, find the square. You're going to see a square root above it. 34 and enter. I get 5.8. 5.8. Now, what unit am I going to write on that? What unit was in the word problem? Virginia, what unit was in the word problem? What's on my numbers?
Blocks.
Yeah, blocks. So instead of walking, if I walk 5 blocks plus 3 blocks, I got to walk how many blocks? 8 blocks. I'm only going to walk how many blocks with a shortcut? 5.8 blocks. So is it worth taking the shortcut? Yeah, we cut off 2-point-something blocks. For us hefty size girls, that's a lot of walking I just saved myself. Okay? I can't stay this size of exercise too much. Does that make sense? Okay, let's try another one. Y'all stay awake out there. All right, so let's say that we, not just me, we walk 6 blocks east and 4 blocks south. What is distance and displacement? Okay? So, what do I do to find distance? Add what? The 6 and what? Okay. So, my distance is what? So, distance equals 10. 6 plus 4 equals 10 blocks. It's a lot of walking for us fluffy girls. All right. So, how do I get my displacement? Not necessarily. We don't just say 6 minus 4. Some problems will subtract, but not all. How do we figure it out? That's why I say draw a picture. You need to know what's happening. All right. If it's a right triangle, you got to do the Pythagorean theorem. How do you know if it's a right triangle? Figure out if it's a 90 degrees. So if I walk east, y'all know what a weather vane looks like, right? North, south, east, west, right? So I'm going 6 blocks east, and I'm going 4 blocks south. Do I have a right triangle? Do I have to do what? Can I just subtract 6 minus 4?
Shortcut.
Can I just subtract 6 minus 4?
No.
Nope, I cannot subtract. So I got to do the whole 6 squared plus 4 squared equals C squared. What's 6 squared? Plus what's 4 squared? Whoops. Equals C squared. What's 36 plus 16? 52 equals C squared. What's the square root of 52? 7.2. I just use 7.2. So 7.2 blocks. So there's my shortcut. That's my displacement. Now, questions? Now, will I always have to do that? Let's say we walk 4 blocks north, 2 blocks west, and 4 blocks south. Okay? What's distance? What's our distance? Okay, how'd you get 10? Okay, so distance equals 4 plus 2 plus 4, which is 10 blocks. Okay? How do I figure out displacement? Okay, so how far do I go north? I went 4 north. Then I do what? 2 west. And then I do what? 4 south. So what do I do there?
Your displacement is 2.
All right, Jacob, how do I get displacement of 2?
You subtract the 4 north from the 4 south.
He's got the right answer. All right, why am I subtracting the 4 north and the 4 south?
Because you go up and basically.
This is backtracking. I went up, and then I did what? I went down. What happens to the 4 up and the 4 down?
They cancel out.
They cancel out. So my displacement is what?
2.
My displacement is 2 blocks. Think you got it? I know some of you do. Some of you ain't got a clue. We have a handy dandy helper. Thank you, Caleb. All right, I want you to do right now 1 through 12 on the front. We're doing distance and displacement for all of them. All right, and you can't write D equals because you won't know which one's which. Write your name down. Take this. I wrote it down.
Oh, okay.
You take this. All right, 1 through 12. They're all, some of them are similar to the Pythagorean theorem. Some of them are not. They're not all going to require you to do fancy math. Some of them will cancel out. Okay? And just like density, I'll roam around and help those of you who need help. But some of you are going to need some help. Okay? Some of them, the displacement might be 0. Might be no work involved. Okay? So read the scenario. See if you need a picture. See what you think. Who's got a question? I need to be still for a minute. Let's think. Yeah. 30 counts. Oops, sorry, John. Yes. Huh? Yeah, you can use notes on English, yes. Yes. Who else has a question? Plus what? Come back, right? So up there, then I do what? I return back. So you got another 30. The place that would be right would be 230s would be right. That's right here. Yeah. Yes, it is. Very good. What's going to happen to start and stop? What's going to happen to the 230s? They're going to do what to each other. Where I left Iowa went to Greensboro and then the Greensboro back. Those two things are going to do what? See how we drove 30 miles from Greensboro to school and then school back to Greensboro back to the school. What's going to happen to the Greensboro to school and then Greensboro back to the school? What's going to happen to those 230 miles? They're going to do what? So if we drew a picture, the school, I go to Greensboro, and I go back. That was 30 miles. That was 30 miles. And then once we do school, I go to Tyler Road. That's 13 miles. So for displacement, what's going to happen to these? That's correct. Alright, you're 43 there. Okay, you only took into consideration that 30 miles. Once I got to Greensboro, I had to drive how many more miles to get back? 30. Yes, so I had another 30. Alright, who else has a question? Who else? Yeah. You're on the wrong side. Where are you from? You don't have to do number 4. We're going to talk about that tomorrow. Vector has a direction. Scalar is just a number. If you can figure out which one has a direction, that'll be the vector. And which one is just a number, that'll be the scalar.
This is why I keep falling and hurting myself. I went to the doctor last week and didn't listen all the time because I've fallen this summer. I told him I didn't want to answer that on the ground, somebody incriminate myself. I wanted to take the fifth. Because it was more than once. Say what? Yes. What's wrong? If we walk around the track, from start to finish, it's 400 meters. Assume I walk it 3 times. So what's my distance? Not plus 3 times. Yep. Yeah, that's fine. Because you know how it's all the difference is. Question was? Okay. Question? How can we get displacement, no distance? Nobody does displacement, no distance. Distance is the easy one. How many times did I drive from school to Greensboro? I drove from Greensboro to, so that's 60, or 30 plus 30 is 60. And then I drove home, which is 13. So how far did I drive? Yeah. What's my displacement?
What's the difference between where I start and where I stop on the track? What's the difference between where I start and where I stop? You can, but what's the difference between where I start and where I stop? So, depends. If you start and stop in the same place, it'll be 0. Then probably 0. Yep. Yeah, Chase. All right. When you run on the track, if you start and stop in the same place, your displacement will be what? Only for this one, because we're talking about the track. Okay. If you've been to a track meet, most of the runners who, if you start and stop in the same place, which is what I'm assuming there, then your displacement will be 0, because the difference between when you start and stop is the same, it'll be 0. This one will not be 0 there. Okay. Now, the reason this one will not be 0 is, suppose we have the school here, we go to Greensboro, we drive 30 miles. We get to Greensboro, drive back to the school, we drive 30 miles. Once we get to the school, I drive home to Tyro, and that was 13 miles. So what is my total displacement based on that? What happens to these two 30 miles? That's right, so 30 minus 30 is going to cancel each other out. So what is my displacement? Yes. Well, yes, ma'am. Okay, so if you're on the track and you start and stop in the same place, what is your displacement? Yeah, on the track, on regular oval out there in the football stadium. So if you have this, and you start and you stop in the same place, what's your displacement? What's the difference between when you start and stop? There's none. So what's the displacement then if there's none? 0. So it's 0. All right, who else has a question? Number 3 is like what we did on the board. Jacob asked, and our answer rather. Yeah, his distance, where are we at? 7? Your main runs 2 laps around the track. Now you have it right. His distance would be 800. And his displacement would be 0. Oh, 10. Sorry. He spins around 5 times without moving in any direction. Yeah, his distance and his displacement are 0. He move. Okay. Well. Where? 9? Rain runs 30 feet north, 30 feet west, 30 feet south. It's just plus between 30 feet. There's north and south of my cancel. Just like the one we just did on board. Who else has a question? Yeah, because they're serving some good diddles on lunch today. I'm sure they're not. Some kind of crap, I'm sure. Like usual. Oh, is pizza good?
It's okay. It's not that bad.
It's not that bad.
It's better than some other stuff.
Yes. The age, you know, it was real good.
Okay, so distance, so you know what distance, you add it up. So you walked 400 one time, 400 a second time, 400 the third time. So what do you do to get that? You gotta get that. What do you do? Yes. How many times? Yes. Yes. Yes, it is. Where? We'll write that one down before you forget.
Okay.
All right, so go back to that other one. How many times did I drive to and from Greenville? How many?
Oh, from you? For you?
For me, that first question. So I drove from school to Greensboro. That's 30 miles. Once I got to Greensboro, I had to do what? So that's how many miles? 30. And then once I got to school, I went to Tyro, and that's how many miles? 13. All right, so how many miles am I driving? That's the answer.
Just for the
Yeah, you gotta do slice of life. Because the 230s are gonna do what to each other? Right? This 30 goes one way and this 30 goes the opposite way, so they're gonna do what to each other? If one goes this way and that one goes that way, they cancel each other out. So like if we look at number 3, see how it says, I walk 2 blocks south, I point it down, and then I walk 4 blocks east. So I'll draw 4 blocks this way. Then it says I walk 2 blocks north, so I'm pointing one up. What is the 2 blocks south and 2 blocks north do to each other? Are we doing distance or displacement? How are we doing displacement? That's right. The 2's will cancel. So displacement will be 4 blocks. Now, for distance, what do we do for distance? You do what with all the numbers? Yes, for distance, you say 2 plus 4 plus 2, and you get 8. Okay? Yes. Nothing. All right, I've got 117. If you have not finished, I don't want you to finish for homework. Okay, what is your homework tonight? Study for the test. Tomorrow after the test, if you finish early, I want you to finish 1 through 12 after the test. Because after the test, we'll move on and go over the answers. We should not need the entire class period to do the test. Okay? We reviewed. As soon as we finish the opening, we'll hand out the test papers. As soon as I give the paper. And then the zip rate. If you have finished like Jacob has, put it in your notebook, don't lose it, so we close it tomorrow, okay? Put your calculators in the tub. Don't be absent, so you're not moaning about, I gotta take the test after school. Yes, if you're absent, you gotta take it after school. Everybody go my house. At least I didn't have to worry about you. Yes, that's what it is. All right, now if we wish to go to lunch, where do we belong?
In our seats.
In your seats. Can't work with just wandering around the room being up. It's a personal pet peeve. You got to be in a chair. And if you ever want to be detained and not get to go to lunch,